Welcome to Nicholas 11x12. Today I'm looking at another mid-tower case, the Aerocool Aero-800. It currently costs around $55 US, which indeed is a very attractive price point for a case, especially for one that looks as good as this one, the Aero-800. I've also had the chance to take a look at its bigger brother, the Aero-1000, and I really like that one. But this one's a bit smaller, maybe doesn't have as many features to offer, therefore costless. Thanks a lot to Aerocool once again for sending me this case to review. In the box, look what a surprise, the case. And inside of it, the accessories such as screws, standoffs, cable ties, as well as the user's manual. Just like the Aero-1000, the smaller Aero-800 looks great, at least when it comes down to my personal taste. Very sleek minimalistic design, I'd say, and really, the smaller version looks very similar to the larger one, which is a good thing in my opinion. This time, however, I decided to go with a different color of the case. My contact person at Aerocool suggested it. Gray, as you may can see. And I have to say it looks fantastic, much better than I've expected, to be honest. A great change when reviewing mostly black cases. The Aero-800 is also available in white, blue, and of course black. The case is equipped with a nice large tinted side panel window to show off components, and just so you know, most of the case is out of metal, very little actually is out of plastic, which is quite impressive at a price point of just $55. Once again, that's a mid-tower case with the following dimensions: 20 by 50.1 by 47.6 centimeters. In the front, a nice round power button that lights up blue, a tiny reset button, HDD activity LED, headphone and mic jacks, and 2 USB 2.0 as well as 2 USB 3.0 ports. Not bad. On the top we find a nice removable magnetic dust filter for easier cleaning. Here on the top we could for instance install up to 2 120mm fans. Unfortunately, due to the lack of space inside, I doubt we would be able to mount a radiator to the top. In the front, 2 5¼ drive bays that unlock with these silver latches. The installation of such drives is not toolless though. Fair enough. The front bezel unfortunately doesn't come off very easily, and I figured out it has to be done with a flathead screwdriver. That's what these little gaps are for. However, only after minutes of fiddling around, I noticed that nothing mentioned about that in the manual. I mean, that works out okay, but Aerocool could have told us on how to do it in the first place, so we don't have to look for it. And while we are on it, unfortunately no dust filter in the front. Not that good. But pre-installed is a 120mm 1100 RPM red LED fan. Of course you could install up to 2 120 or 140mm fans here in the front, or up to a 240 or 280mm radiator. I'm talking about a max radiator thickness of 40mm. Looks like we did manage to find a decent radiator mounting point after all. A dust filter would have been nice though. The side panels come off easily, do have quite a bit of flex to them, but I can't complain after all, just $55. The Aero-800 supports standard ATX, micro ATX, and even mini ATX motherboards. No sign of rubber grommets for tidier cable management, but at least we've got plenty of holes to route the cables through, even ones on the top there. The internal design is a bit different in this case, as you can see. We have this large metal cover that hides the power supply and hard drives, not removable. Aerocool decided to not have any HDD rack right here to allow users to install long graphics cards with lengths of up to 39 centimeters. To install 2.5-inch drives such as SSDs, you can screw 2 of such onto the front of the back wall, and at the back there's another special spot for a 2.5-inch drive. Down there, nicely hidden, 2 HDD trays that support both 3.5 as well as 2.5-inch drives. Not that many trays for HDDs, but let's be honest, people that buy a $55 case most likely will not install that many hard drives into their system anyways. Here we have our front panel connectors all in black. Nice. Well hidden behind that cover sits the power supply on these 4 soft paddings. 21.3 centimeters is the max length here, and the case is raised to allow for better airflow of the PSU. Luckily, there's a removable dust filter for the PSU on the bottom. Not the most elegant way of removing and putting it back in, but at least it's there and can be removed for cleaning purposes. 7 expansion slots, and pre-installed on the rear is a 120mm 1200 RPM fan. The fan could for instance also be replaced by a 120mm radiator. In terms of cable management, there's not all that much space available for cables on the other side, but it's decent, I'd say. You can definitely work with that and even keep the system clean looking. On the bottom, 4 rubber feet, and once again the case is raised quite a bit. This Aero-800 supports air CPU coolers with a max height of up to 15.5 centimeters, so we better shouldn't exceed that. To give you a better idea, I've installed this MSI Z97 motherboard into the case, and as you can see, a long graphics card for sure is no problem here. That aspect is managed much better here with this Aero-800 than with the Aero-1000. The Aerocool Aero-800 might not be the perfect case in terms of features and how many things you can put into it, but after all, it's a case that costs about $55, which then leads me to the conclusion that it's, as of now, from what I've seen, one of the best budget cases. The build quality is pretty good, the dust filter in the front is missing in my opinion, and there are no rubber grommets for tidier cable management. Nevertheless, these aren't critical aspects. There's room for water cooling and enough space for long GPUs. 2 fans come pre-installed already, and besides, the design, at least when it comes down to my taste, looks fresh and modern too. Most importantly, elegant and minimalistic. The price-performance ratio is good on this one. I'd definitely recommend the Aerocool Aero-800 mid-tower case. It clearly deserves my silver award, close to gold actually, but not quite good enough for that award yet. Thanks a lot for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and visit my website to see videos there earlier than on YouTube.